We are so glad that you have tuned in to today's encouraging words. Sit back, relax, and hopefully you will hear something that will inspire you on today. Let's get ready for today's encouraging words, brought to you by Walk in Truth Radio Network. Let's listen.
Hello, this is Pastor Jay of Walk in Truth Radio Network, and I want to talk to you about something. If you look at the photo, it talks about milk being spilled. We sit there and watch milk being spilled, and you sit there and watch it, and then you look around and ask yourself who's going to clean it up. And then you may decide to just sit there and let someone else clean it up because you didn't spill it. It's not your fault, but you were in the room and you observed it, and it's there. And somebody has to do something. Well, I use this example as a simile or a metaphor to life. Our lives are like the milk that's spilled. It's there. It's laying on the ground. Sometimes we're not going anywhere, but it's out of where it should be. It's not in the cup. It's not producing what we want to produce. And it's just laying there. And we look around and we want people to clean it up for us, to make us whole, to get us right, to get us on the right path. And yet and still there's a part of us that keeps our pride, and we don't really want to let someone know that we've been spilled, that we're not going in the right direction. So we sit there and spoil. We spoil. We'll sit there until something happens that's external to take care of an internal problem of the spilled milk. And everybody's watching us spoil, become rotten, and stink. But yet, we can't smell it. We won't smell it because we believe that if someone knew that it has spilled, they may look at us in a different way. There's only one problem. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. You think they don't know because they're not saying nothing. But they talk. They know. They're watching you spill out yourself. They're watching you spoiling in the moment. They're watching you be inattentive to getting it together, taking care of itself, wiping it up yourself, waiting for somebody to come along. And a lot of times what I found out is you're waiting for somebody to come along to notice, and then they jump in and try to help, and then they become the villain and the reason why the milk is spilled and you're not doing nothing because they have rubbed you the wrong way and trying to help you get right. People and saints of God, we have to stop looking at the conditions outside of ourselves and start examining the conditions inside of ourselves. We can't keep looking 70 years back without having a plan to go 2 years forward. And it said, well, you don't know what we're going through. We, collective, yeah. Everybody's born in the time that they're born in, and they're going through something. And every generation says they're going through. Every generation goes through their struggle. So you can't really compare struggles, but are you handling the struggle? Are you striving through the struggle of any given time? And for a person of African American descent that is young, say to an older person of any generation, that they don't know, examine the history. They know. We don't know. Even me at 57 don't know what it's like to sit in a restaurant that's segregated, or to be told to go to a bathroom that's far away from where the normal bathrooms are, or colored water fountains, or segregated schools. I don't know anything about that. I don't know what it's like to have police dogs sicked on me just because I want equal rights. I don't know what it's like to be a domestic and wash Caucasian folks' underwear in a washboard. I don't know what it's like for somebody to tell me my kids can't go to any school they want, any school that they can get in through their achievements. I don't know what it's like to sit in the back of a bus after I've worked all day and be told that I have to stand up and give my seat to someone else. What we've done in a systematic way is when the struggle was really taken away, what was really a struggle, then we become weak and entitled. The struggle made us strong. The struggle made us strive. The struggle made us who we are. That's where you get the Tuskegee Airmen, the women that were at NASA, and so on and so forth throughout history. Out of the struggle comes the Malcolm X's, the Elijah Muhammad's, and the Martin Luther King's, and the Sojourner Truth. These are the people who struggled and strived and said, I want a better way for my people. And yet, at times, the people who have the privilege now look back at the people and say, we don't have enough privilege. We don't have enough struggle. We deserve to have it. But why? You haven't earned it. Somebody else died. Somebody else took the bat for you 70 years ago, 80 years ago. Somebody else got bitten. Somebody else got decapitated. Somebody else got hung so that you can have the right and opportunity. And you take the opportunity of your life right now and say, guess what? I don't want it. I don't want what the struggle has earned us to have. I want to do something different. And then when life struggle comes upon you, you're like spilled milk. You're just going about your business. And then some of you have the nerve to say, I'm hard. Really? Why am I hard? Why do you look at it as hard? Why don't you look at it as sage advice? The Bible tells us about the strong rebuke is the better way to show love. What am I supposed to do? Just let you spoil? Or tell you, get yourself up, wipe yourself up, dust yourself off, and get going? And the sad part about this commentary, about the struggle, about the spoiled milk, and maybe you can help me out with this. I don't care who it is. Please comment. And I'm being general on purpose, but I could be specific. It's not all, it's too many. So now let's quit the little juvenile thing of, oh, he's being too general. No, it's too many. Fatherless children. I have some people that I know that are my age and still owes child support, and their children have children. So their grandfathers and grandparents, and they still owe child support from when their child was a child. And they don't plan on doing nothing about it. I don't even know if they can do anything about it. The issue with life is not wanting more or less. The issue with the spoiled milk scenario is, if you like your life the way it is, then your milk has not been spilled. It's okay if you truly like where you at, what you doing, how you living, and your future is cool, and you're a young person and you can see yourself doing what you're doing when you're 60. Man, that's a blessing. That means you set. If it's honest work, you set. It doesn't make a difference what it is. The problem comes in for those whose milk has been spilled, their life is being spilled, and they want more. They say they want more, and they don't want to do anything about it. The sacrifice has been made for them that they can make decisions, and they choose the default to not do anything about it and continue to say, I want to do something different. I want to do something great. I want to do something more. Not understanding, to do more, you have to get into the struggle to sacrifice. It's not going to come to you just because you're here. It's not going to come to you just because you're here. Think about it. Struggle is real. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You know, run hard for 100 yards and you won't you want the prize as if you ran 100 miles. Now think about what I just said. You have run hard for 100 yards and you said, I'm done with the struggle. You see, I done took on the struggle and I done ran fast and got it over with. No, you may be winded and tired, but you just beginning. The struggle is 100 miles long. You need to walk it out. You'll catch that. If you really understand this, you'll catch that. You need to, instead of trying to sprint and microwave yourself into a slot, you need to walk into it. Because you know what I found out by growing up? Think about this, saints of God, and you athletes out there. What's up, you city? Think about this. When we ran the stadium steps and you fell on them steps hard, guess what? Your knees were scratched up because you was running. But imagine if you walk and fall. You don't tend to scrape yourself as bad when you walk and fall. You tend to, even if it's a fall that you don't expect, when you're walking and you fall, you tend not to hurt yourself as bad. But if you running and fall, my God, you kind of tumble. You know, knees get scarred up, elbows get scarred up because you're going fast. Your momentum and resistance of the friction of the ground, physics kicks in and you hit that ground while your momentum is going forward or backwards real fast, and it hurts. But if you just take one steady step at a time, moving forward with your life, conquering each level of your life at the appropriate time, listening, learning, and being quiet, learning to be quiet, as the Bible says, learning to do good, learning discipline, learning being committed, accountable, responsible, consistently. One day at a time. Instead of trying to sprint it through, you'll find yourself as you take one step at a time and climb that mountain, conquer that hill, go through that wall, all that stuff we say. You'll find yourself further down the journey as time goes on. And then you can pick up the pace because the steps you made in the beginning are solid. That's your foundation. If you ever notice, it takes them longer to lay a foundation than it does to build the superstructure of a building, because if the foundation is right, it makes no difference how high the building is because it's going to fall. So the foundation has to be exacting and right. It has to be proofed. It has to be upright. It has to be perpendicular. It has to be parallel at places. It has to be something that the building can stand on. So now let's end this with the milk. You're going through life, you've made some mistakes. You want to change. Your life has been spilled out and it's spoiling before you, and you've wasted some time. Your life is time is wasted out. My word, my Bible, the word of God says we can redeem the time. Not just spiritually, but we can also redeem some time in our day-to-day lives. But do you really want to sacrifice and suffer through what it takes to redeem the time? The longer it takes you to redeem the time, the more it's going to cost you in the area of sacrifice and suffering, being committed, being accountable, and being responsible. It was easier to start at 18 than it is to start at 35. But it's been proven when the 35-year-old makes up their mind that they have let enough milk spill and nobody's really going to clean it up and it's just going to sit there and spoil, when they make up in their mind, whether they're male or female, to get the ball rolling, guess what? They tend to be the ones who do real good. But they made that decision. They made that decision to take that one step, then the next step, and get to jogging, and then they get to running. But never it becoming a sprint. And they just keep going forward. So I want you to think about this as your day go on. What do you want to do? I am here to help you. I'm helping some right now. If you want to get in touch with me, look in the description box. My email is there. WhatsApp is there. There's plenty of ways to get in touch with me. We'll help you out. If you want us to, we will. But you have to remember, I have no sugar to give you. I don't care what you've been through and how it got here. You're coming because you're tired of where you're at. You're tired of what you're doing, and you want something different. And the first thing you have to put in your mind, everybody that likes you the way you are right now, most of them, if not all of them, until you get where you want to go, you're going to have to leave them right there. And trust me, if they're doing nothing now, they'll be there when you become something, and then you can help them. But somebody in your circle, somebody in your family, somebody in around you has to break away for a minute to do something to help the others. If everybody stays in the barrel and nobody gets out, then everybody's in the barrel and the barrel becomes comfortable. And what happens is you become comfortable, you become complacent, you become critical, but you never move. You never move. And you go from 30 years old to 60 years old to 70 years old to in the grave. And you will always be talking about what you woulda, shoulda, coulda done with the time that you have left. Redeem the time. This is your time. Again, we'll help you at Walk in Truth. Again, get in touch with me. This is Pastor Jay, Walk in Truth Radio Network, also senior pastor of Walk in Truth Christian Fellowship Church. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Walk in Truth Radio Network YouTube page. Like, share, and subscribe on our Facebook channel. Let us reason together. My personal Facebook page, if you want to befriend me, and also Walk in Truth Christian Fellowship Church Facebook page. Again, I want you to be encouraged, blessed, and be at peace. And don't let this truth that you could walk in pass you by. Don't let the milk continue to spill and spoil. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to today's message. We hope that you have been blessed and encouraged. Continue to listen, subscribe, and share on our YouTube page and your favorite podcast platform where we could be reached. Consider donating to this ministry on your favorite platform of choice, Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. We want to thank you for all of your support and especially your prayers. Stay tuned, be encouraged, and be blessed.